Hello and welcome to the final episode of Pick 3 DST, where I give you 3 defenses I like and 1 defense I'm fading for week 17 of the NFL season. It's fantasy football playoff time. I'm your host, Eric Samulski, and as always, these are not my full weekly DST rankings. If you want to check those, you can click the link below or go to RotoBaller.com, where I'll update the article during the week as we get weather information, injury updates, and anything else that I think impacts the DST landscape. We're going to start with the defense that I'm fading for this week, and it's the Tampa Bay Bucks. Consensus has them up at 6th, but I have them 15th on the week. Now, I've had the Bucks ranked inside my top 10 numerous times recently because their season-long stats are pretty good. But they are the 29th ranked defense over the last 6 weeks, averaging just 3.6 points per game as a fantasy defense. And if you've played them, you know that they have been pretty poor. So it's still really hard to trust them, even though everything seems like it should line up for them this week. However, the Panthers are also showing some fight with Sam Darnold at quarterback. They've scored 23 points at least in 3 of their last 4 games. So they're not really a doormat offense, and they've got an outside shot at the playoffs. They're actually playing relatively good football of late. So I understand the narrative behind the Bucks, but I just can't get behind them this week. And of course, now that I've said that, they'll probably finish as a top 10 defense. My sleeper defense for the week is the Indianapolis Colts. Consensus has them all the way down at 29th, but I have them up at 8th. The Colts are actually the 6th ranked defense over the last 6 weeks, averaging 8.8 points a game. And they finished as the 11th ranked defense last week against the Chargers, so they still have some fight in them. The Colts are 5th in tackles for a loss, 6th in the NFL in sacks, 10th in opponent scoring rate, so they've been a pretty good defense all year long. They're also really good against the run, which should help to limit the effectiveness of Saquon Barkley, and I think make the Colts a pretty solid option here in the back half of the top 10. My solid defense for the week is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Consensus has them at 8th, but I have them up at 4th. They are 4th in the NFL in turnover rate, 6th in the NFL in quarterback pressure rate, and 8th in the NFL as a rush defense. So they're a pretty solid defense overall. They've just been inconsistent this year. But now they're going up against a Texans team that I know won last week, but they're still giving up the 4th most fantasy points to opposing defenses. And even though they did win the game last week, the Titans still finished as a top 10 defense, and that was in a poor effort. This Jacksonville team is fighting for a playoff spot, so I expect them to come out swinging and have a really good week against a pretty poor Texans team. My stud defense for the week is the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going up against a Broncos team that allowed the Rams to finish as the number 1 defense in fantasy football last week. The Broncos give up the 2nd most points to opposing fantasy defenses, so I really like this matchup for a Chiefs team that's 4th in the NFL in sacks, 7th in the NFL in tackles for a loss, and 7th in the NFL in quarterback pressure rate. So they are going to bring the pressure against Russell Wilson or Brett Rippon or whoever's playing quarterback for the Broncos. This Broncos team just fired their coach. They're beaten down. I really don't think they're going to come with any fight. And the Chiefs are still competing for the number 1 seed in the AFC, so you know they're going to look to make a statement and win this game, especially with the Bills facing a tough matchup against the Bengals. So this could be the week the Chiefs jump ahead of Buffalo, so you know they're going to come out swinging. As always, if you haven't, please click below to like and subscribe to get all of our RotoBaller content if you play Week 18 or want to do DFS for Week 18, but also for baseball season, basketball season, all of the good stuff we bring you here on YouTube. Hope you enjoyed Pick 3 DST this season, and I'll be back for more next season.